Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, Gabriel's 70 weeks. So, scripture references out of Daniel 9, verse 24. We're going to focus on the phrase 70 weeks are decreed. And I'm going to spare everybody the reading of the rest of the verse. You guys can follow up on that accordingly. But most translators or most translations use the phrase 70 weeks. The New International Version, or the NIV, uses the phrase 77s. The New Living Translation indicates 70 sets of 7. So the first part of the time equation is pretty straightforward. Shabim is the Hebrew word for the number 70. And the second word is a bit more complicated as we see it from a Western perspective. The Hebrew word of weeks is Shabua, and per Strong's Concordance, Shabua is defined as a period of 7. Could be days, years, a heptad, a week. The term Shabua is also plural for the number 7. So the math is pretty straightforward. 70 times 7, 490. So is it 490 days or 490 years for the prophecy to be fulfilled? So, looking at the context of this prophecy, Daniel 9:1 tells us in the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, by descent a Mede who was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. And we know from Daniel 9:1, Gabriel is visiting Daniel in roughly 539 BC. I think we can rule out 490 literal days pretty easily. Sin did not come to an end by 537 BC. Atonement for sin and everlasting righteousness did not come into being again around 537 BC. So, and Christ was not due on the scene for at least 500 years. So if this were the case and it were literal days, currently in the 21st century, we'd be past the millennial kingdom and into a blissful eternity. Hardly the case. This is not everlasting righteousness these days that we live in. A second thing, which I think is more reasonable, there's also the day-year or the year-day principle. The idea is a day represents a year of time. Scripture supports this idea with several examples, and God himself uses this principle after the Exodus out of Egypt in Numbers 14. So let's take a look at Numbers 14, verse 34. According to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, a year for each day, you shall bear your iniquity 40 years, and you shall know my displeasure. And that's God speaking. So God uses the idea of a day for a year, and he spells it out, a year for each day. God also instructed the prophet Ezekiel a day for a year on 2 separate occasions. And we're going to look at both of those. Ezekiel 4, verse 5, for I assign to you a number of days, 390 days, equal to the number of years of their punishment. That's for Israel. So long shall you bear the punishment of the house of Israel. So again, to Ezekiel, 390 days equal to the number of years of their punishment. Again, a day equal to a year. Also, Ezekiel 4, verse 6, and when you have completed these, you shall lie down a second time, but on your right side, and bear the punishment of the house of Judah. 40 days I assign you, a day for each year. So God's pretty clear on 3 separate occasions, and he spells it out for people, a day for a year. Now, in spite God's words, many liberal scholars will disagree, and some don't think this passage in Daniel 9 is even prophetic. But that said, in light of the critics, it would appear the most likely answer is a 490-year time frame for this prophecy to be fulfilled. And we're going to get into this a little farther. But to date, 483 of those years have been fulfilled, and we're waiting on those last 7 to be fulfilled. And again, we're going to break that down and get into that a little bit further. But the next time we're going to get into why 70 weeks. That's a question that many people ask, and God gives an answer for that as well. So if you are interested in following the blog, you can click on the blue bar. Sometimes there's a gray bar below. Type in your email address. We'll give you a notification every time something comes out. News flow seems to be picking up again. I suspect things will pick up once the election is over and takes place and we get some direction. Seems like the whole world's on pause and on hold, just waiting for something to happen. And it'll happen. Also, this will be categorized under angels and prophecy. This is Gabriel's prophecy that he is relating to Daniel. So if you'll scroll down the far right side of the website, click on angels. We have all kinds of stuff, posts, studies on angels. And that's what this is in regards to. We're looking at Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, and his comments in Daniel 9. And once we finish that out, we're probably going to take a look at Michael's stuff. So picking up again after the fall feasts. Set aside the feast season. Those are the Lord's. Recognize those. Lots of current events tend to happen in and around those days. So back on track. Next big thing is going to be the election, where we go from there. And see where the world takes us. So appreciate you guys following along. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for following. Take care. Bye.